Hello.
Yeah, that's your name.
Squirrels got me.
Big Jim.
Yeah.
Really cold and fun.
Cold and fun.
Cold and fun.
That's good that you think that of it, because that's what deer hunting typically is cold and fun.
Yesterday morning, I'm glassing up on the pass, and I see these deer moving, and I'm like, ooh, there's some deer moving. All of a sudden, I just see this person just head down, just hauling ass, wearing shorts and a t-shirt with a pack on. And I'm like, is that Tard? My dad always talks about floating through the woods like the autumn breeze.
So Robert's
when you're
the
275 pounds, I don't know how you do that, but
the Freightliner. It's just like a creeper. You're just kind of up in the corner watching what's going on down there.
Yeah.
You know.
He's like,
he's up there slapping it, pissing all over everything.
Is it warm yet?
How did you know the name of the actor?
I know.
How did you say his name?
Hervé Villechaize.
You know what Pertnear means.
If you know what Pertnear means and you live in America, you're a redneck too.
Welcome to the Log Talk Podcast, brought to you by Pertnear Outdoors.
It's that time of year. It's that time of year where we all need to be thinking about, do we have everything we need to hit the woods? Chances are you don't, and if you think you do, you probably could use some more. So how about you go over to thehuntworks.com and check out all the incredible products these guys are carrying. This is a great family, local store. Dan and Steve Dunnigan, a couple hardworking sumbitches. They are now carrying archery equipment, everything from bows to arrows to broadheads, quivers, you name it. So on top of all the great tree stands and box blinds that they're carrying, they're now a full-on archery dealer, and really recommend that you check these guys out for your next big purchase. Head over to thehuntworks.com to see what they've got for sale, or if you're local in the Rochester area, head on over to their store in East Rochester on Dispatch Drive and check them out. They are on social media, The Huntworks, and also online, like I said. And if you purchase anything online, you can use promo code FEEDIN'Em to get 5% off. And that's FEED, FEEDIN, INUM, 5% off. Feed 'em.
Welcome to the Log Talk Podcast, brought to you by Pertnear Outdoors and The Huntworks. And it's, that time of year. If you're listening to this podcast, you've already heard the ad, but just a little plug for the boys over at The Huntworks. They're hard-working some bitches, they are. And
Hard-working sons of bitches.
I'm telling you, you go over there, the lot's full of, we got everything from Banks blinds, the 360 blinds, which we now carry. They're out of PA. We got some Grizzlies, some Mavericks. We got all sorts of tree stands. The warehouse is full of everything from ladder stands to hang-on stands to climbers. So buck huts, we got buck huts in stock. So full line of Millennium. We're stocked up, ready to go. So stop out, and if you go see them guys, just remember to mention Pertnear Outdoors for your 5% discount. So I've been helping them throughout the summer, building blinds for them and doing deliveries and whatnot. So I speak from experience, having been on their lot, that I've never seen so many blinds there. I've also never seen so many going out the door. So we got guys coming and buying them. And also I want to mention regarding Huntworks that it's a full-on archery shop, right? So they got all their bows there, but they also carry crossbows. So they've got 10-point and Wicked Ridge by 10-point. And the crossbow law passed in New York State and was signed by the governor. So anybody that I know, a lot of crossbows have been going out the door, and if you're interested in getting one, I know I got a new one, and Big Al got a new one, and been shooting them, and they are amazing. So I've got one with crank up cock. I think it's a Venom X, and so it's got cock and decock built into it. It's very, very nice. So
Gotta love the decock.
Decock.
So
So-
I won't go there. I got a flurry of jokes in my head.
I know. Don't just hold back. So enough about the Huntworks. This is our first podcast of the 25-26 season, and had a little respite. Last I talked to you, we were in Pennsylvania chasing turkeys with Chestnut Hill whitetails down in Bradford, PA.
No turkeys there.
Oh, there was turkeys there. I didn't kill any, but they were there. So yeah, we kind of took the summer off, and in the meantime, I don't know when it was, back in August or something. Tim had been in touch with AJ Harris up here in Maine about some openings he had, and we ended up throwing together a bear hunt to come up here to Maine. And we left on Labor Day weekend and had a great week. So we thought we'd recap, and we actually have AJ Harris, our guide, with us to talk about what he does up here, how he got into it, and such. So we thought we'd kick it off. And I don't know, Tim, if you want to take it away. So around the table, we got there's myself, Big Willy, and we got Big Jim, and we got Tim.
Can I be
AJ.
Big Tim too?
Yeah. You want to be Big Tim? You're just normal sized Tim.
All right, I'll just go with just Tim. That's fine.
With your, I thought it said dank moxie, but with your drink moxie. So apparently, true Mainers drink moxie. So Tim got some of that, and we all tried it, and we're gonna get some more before we leave. So.
I mean, I haven't tried it without Maker's Mark in it yet, so
I know
I still got to try it.
All right, so we don't need to do introductions, but you want to start, AJ, with maybe introducing yourself to our listeners?
I'm AJ Harris, owner of Harris Hunting Adventures in Lee, Maine. I've run the business now for, I think, 6 years. My grandfather owned it for 45 before that, so I've been bear hunting and bear baiting ever since I was old enough to drive a truck. I've been running baits for him, so I've been doing it so that makes it 20-plus years now, actually baiting.
Yeah.
So, but Gramp got done, handed the reins over to me, and I've been doing it ever since.
Yeah. So your dad wasn't interested in stepping in and taking it?
Dad's never had his guide's license. It's been Gramp, my Uncle Mark, and myself.
Okay.
So Dad's the only one that hasn't got his guide's license.
All right.
Yeah.
So, Tim, you had some questions. We were talking in the truck on the way back here, which, by the way, we're back at camp, it's a sleeping bear campgrounds and cabins.
In Lee, Maine.
Yeah, and the place is absolutely beautiful. I mean, the accommodations are great.
Yeah,
so.
I was telling the guys, this is the best bear camp I've ever stayed in.
No, they take good care of us. This is who I primarily use to lodge the hunters.
Yeah, very, very nice accommodations.
Yeah, this is great. So, had a great week, and I guess just to back up just a little bit. I mean, I think it was basically a short notice hunt. I thought about I've done a lot of bear hunts in the past. I don't know. I was thinking today, trying to count up. I think this is around my 21st bear hunt, and different states and a couple different provinces in Canada. And this has been great. I just want to compliment you. I can tell you care, and I was telling the guys, that I feel like you're doing everything that you can do and want to do and able to do without waving a magic wand and making bears walk out in front of you.
It is hunting.
It's hunting is hunting. So everything's been really good, and I know you're working hard, and it seems like you enjoy it. So that means a lot. So I mean, I don't know if I want to get into it or not, but I'll say it right off, the gallbladder thing. It's always like a mystery.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody wants to talk about it, but I know it goes on. You're taking the gallbladder, that's fine. I'm like, what's it look like? You're the only person that's taking the time to say, this is a gallbladder, this is what I do. And that's fine. I don't care. I don't want the gallbladder.
Oh, yeah.
I want a bear. But it's kind of interesting and cool that you took the time I tell the guys, nobody's wanted to talk about it.
Yeah.
It's like it's a secret. It's not a big secret to me
no.
or anybody else. Like, we don't really care.
Yeah.
It was funny because, we met you here on Monday when you were giving us the rundown, and then we were driving over there, and Tim goes, I like this guy. He told me about he admitted to the gallbladder.
Yeah.
He said,
I trust him
I'll be
now.
taking the gall.
So, a little background, like, this is a short notice hunt, I think, and I was thinking about doing another bear hunt. I think I told you, a buddy of mine, who Bill and Joel obviously were really good friends with also, he and I did a lot of bear hunts, and he passed away in end of December, kind of suddenly and unexpectedly. And I'm like, you know what? I miss doing the bear hunts. It's a lot of fun. And I like going out sitting in the woods, and Maine was an obvious choice. My passport expired, and I haven't got with COVID and all, the borders were shut down.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, well, Maine's just a good, obvious choice. So it's just funny. I happen to be looking through it, and I follow one of the bear hunting
pages on Facebook.
Yeah. And I just that one day, and I just started thinking about it. I saw that you posted, I've got 3 openings, second week, message me. And so I looked into your Facebook and I saw all the pictures and the bear. I'm like, man, everything looks good. So I reached out to you and messaged you, and everything was just flowing from there. And I guess it might have been late July, was it?
I don't remember when.
It was for me fairly short notice. Usually I'm 6 months to a year ahead of time, like probably most guys are. But and then I figured, well, I'll just drive up alone, because I didn't think anybody wanted to come or would be able to come last minute, in relative terms. And both Brother Bill and Nephew Jimmy, they end up, I'm in.
Well, you texted me and you're like, I know there's probably no chance in hell, but you're like, what are the chances you go on a bear hunt with me?
Yeah.
And my initial reaction is, there's no chance in hell I'm going to pull a bear hunt off.
Yeah.
And then, finding out when it was the first week of school and, we got kids and I'm like, oh God. And then it dawned on me, like shortly after you sent the text, I'm like, Joel is his hunting buddy and he's, no longer here for the bear hunt. So I was like, I should really probably go on this.
Yeah.
And I talked to the wife and she was like, no, you should go.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah. You remember
we made it happen.
Do you remember what my answer was?
Hell no.
I had texted,
no, I said I really don't have any desire to shoot a bear.
That's right. You did say that. He said that, and he was like, "Do you want some bear meat?" Or like, "I don't know what to do with the bear meat." I go, "I'll eat it. I love it."
Yeah, I'm like Paula likes venison and she'll eat the turkey and fish and stuff, but she won't eat bear. And I'm like, I don't shoot things that I don't use.
Right.
Oh yeah. So I go, I don't have an interest in shooting a bear. And
I
said I don't want any more taxidermy. My garage is loaded with taxidermy.
Guess what? You've got taxidermy.
I got taxidermy coming. So yeah, it's funny that the only guy out of the 3 that responded, I really don't care to shoot a bear.
Yeah, you're right.
I guarantee you make her that bear roast and don't tell her what it is, she'll have more.
Oh yeah, I'll get her to try it.
Yeah.
Yeah, when both you and Bruce Swan, the guy that's cutting it up for us, said that bear roast is nothing but good. You put that in a slow cooker or whatever with some potatoes and carrots and whatever else you want, onion and
My absolute favorite, just like I told you earlier in the week.
Yeah.
I'd eat one of them over a deer any day of the week.
I've had bear steaks from way back where I'm like, holy cow, this is delicious. And I've been on a couple of hunts up in Quebec, way back, so I started hunting up there. And their guys would go home who had bear, like the end of the week, they're getting their head and their hide, and they're leaving their quarters, And the guy's like, you want their quarters? I'm like, yeah. So, as long as they don't count the quarters at the border, I'm okay, But anyways, I guess I want to tell a little background, a short notice hunt. I'm really glad that the 3 of us got together. This had a great time. AJ, just to let you know, in case I haven't said it enough already, but wanted to talk about your grandfather. You said he did it for 45 years. So doing the math, which can't do that right now. When did he start? Do you have an idea?
It was before I was around, so I wouldn't even dare guess. He's 83 now, or 83 in October. I would guess. I know he worked at Great Northern, another big mill up here that's not running anymore, but he did that in his early years. I would guess he got his guide's license sometime around like I did, around, probably a little later than me. I got mine when I was in my mid-20s. So he would have been early 30s when he got his, and he did it up until I took over 7 years ago.
7 years ago, yeah.
So do you know, it's awesome he's still around. You talk to him.
Oh, yeah. No, he actually just messaged me when we started.
Nice.
He said nothing tonight, and I said, no beer tonight.
That's cool. What made him decide to, like, just the love of bear hunting?
Oh yeah. He grew up in a hunting family, and I believe he was the only guide. My great-grandfather wasn't. No one on my grandmother's side. So they bought you guys hear me all right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
He bought Harry's Lodge in Aroostook County. It's only 30 miles from here, southern Aroostook County. And he ran that camp for 35 of the 45 years, and then he obviously downsized. And Harry's Lodge, back in the day, that was one of the premier outfitters in the state. He'd take 25, 30 deer hunters a week.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
Yeah.
No kidding. I was going to ask you, like, what the clientele was like and customers, like how many, bear hunters, deer hunters, moose.
I would say bear. He was a little less than deer. Obviously, deer was Maine deer hunting back then was
That was the big.
that was the big deal.
Yeah, yeah.
Bear was just getting started.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say when he was at his absolute peak, he was probably 12 or 15 bear hunters a week. So that's still, he was taking 60 bear hunters a year and running 120, 130 bait sites.
And working at the mill.
No,
this was full time.
This was after he was a full time guide.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then when the moose hunt started in 1980, I wasn't around at that time, but I remember when I was just old enough to remember, he'd have 8 or 10 moose hunters a year, and
Nice.
that's not unheard of nowadays. All the northern Maine outfitters and stuff like that, where a majority of the tags are given out, they certainly take a lot of moose hunters, but someone around here, no one gets 8 or 10 moose hunts a week.
Yeah. That sounds like a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, for now, yeah.
That was not something I was expecting to see the first night here is a moose running across the trail while we're driving out. I was like, holy shit. That was both at the same time. Dad and I were like, holy shit, that was a moose.
Did you tell him about the moose we saw tonight?
I think Jimmy did.
Yeah.
I mean, that was
bull or cow.
It was cow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big.
Closer
She's
back to the
big.
gate. This one was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, past Brian's spot.
Yeah.
I think obviously it was coming out to cross, but it was standing right there in the in the old logging cut there and right out there. She turned right around and went back in, but it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I put the window down and let all the dust in Dad's truck finally at the end of the week.
I made the whole week without having any windows down and dust in it.
Except when you stopped the other day to take a leak on the side of the road
yeah.
and the wind changed. And like, you better close your door.
The first guy's spot where you go down that long drag and then up the hill.
Yeah.
Dad was like, I got to piss. And he went to pull over like by that guy's spot. And I'm like, no, there's somebody hunting in here. I'm like, keep going. So we go down the hill and we come up the other side. And
the
he
road
stops.
bends to the right.
He had to go so bad he whipped the door open and all the dust just came blowing right in.
I'm glad you didn't go for a ride in my truck this week.
Well, yeah, it'd be different if I lived up here. But I was like, you know what? Don't let the dust in because you never get it out.
I know. There's a lot of truth to that.
I got a question about Grandpa's lease. You said that this camp that he had, like, did he own the land or was it a lease with like like his lot, if you will, his area? Is that public ground or was it?
You're talking about his bear baits.
Well, you were saying he took like, I don't know, a lot of deer hunters.
Oh yeah, deer hunters would have
up
been,
at that camp.
It would have just been like all public land hunting.
Okay.
So he had a camp and then
he had a camp where, in the main lodge where he would lodge them.
Yep.
And then I would say 90% of his deer hunters were return clients. So after their second, third, fourth
They
year,
knew where they were
they
going.
knew where they were going before
Okay.
they even showed up.
All right, cool.
But-
So he was hunting on public property.
Yeah.
Yep.
So for the bear baits, any different when you got into bear hunting? Like, did you have to? I guess I think we're starting and we're looking at is like what I'm thinking is that what you have now for area with bear baits, like, is it leased property, like with the paper mill companies?
Yes, it's either paper mill property or local logging companies.
Yep.
I'm more of a, I guess I'd say, small end. I only run the 35 bait sites, so I have 3 or 4 local logging companies that I lease off, and that basically just gives me 100% bear hunting rights.
I see.
They don't shut the land down for recreation for like ATVs or people scouting for a moose hunt in the next couple of weeks. So I just have 100% bear hunting rights for those lots.
Yeah, that's what we were wondering about. Like, if you got this, it seemed like you had the whole area locked down as far as bear baiting and that whole, it was a long stretch. I mean, I don't know how much farther past you go. I was like 14 and a half miles back in.
You were the longest one in at 14 and a half, and my lot starts at like 6.5.
Okay.
And it's 3, sometimes 5, 6 miles wide. So that's my second biggest lot in there.
So are you saying that they leave that open for like ATV use and
Yes.
stuff? Or so like the first week would be the last week of summer? Like
Correct,
last week would have been,
Yes,
the last week. So was there like more ATV activity last weekend
I would
there?
say Labor Day is always the kicker.
Because we never heard like one other vehicle come through.
No.
Yeah.
But I could see like that last week of summer, I could see like people
Yeah.
recreating.
No,
back in there.
my northern lot I talked to you guys about, or I have some hunters hunting this week. I always hunt that the first week, whether I got 4 guys or 8 guys, because there's 5 or 6 camps on that road system, and every Labor Day they're up there at camp and they're riding their side-by-sides, which you can't blame them.
Right. At the northern lot or at this lot?
At the northern lot.
Okay.
Yeah. But
So
that lot you guys hunted this week, that's part of what's called ITS 83, which is a very busy, it'd be, I would say, more busy in the winter for a snowmobile trail, but that's, you could have easily had a group of 8 or 10 side-by-sides go rolling through this week, and luckily we didn't. But
yeah.
Does that bother them at all, do you feel like?
No.
Or they're used to it probably.
Oh, yeah. I've had hunters say that, obviously, we've all gone side-by-side for rides, stuff like that, and passengers are stopping and drinking beers. I've had hunters say that, heard a group of side-by-side stop within 500 yards of my bait, and they were hooting and hollering, but just passing through, that doesn't bother them any.
Yeah.
Nice. So do you have just the 2 lots, or do you?
No, I have a total of 4 lots.
Wow.
And I could figure it out in a few minutes, but my 2 big lots, I have one that's 15,000 acres, and the one you guys hunted this week was 12,000.
Wow.
And then I have 2 that are a lot smaller, but very good bear hunting ground.
Okay.
Is any of the original stuff your grandfather had?
Yeah, out of my 35 sites, I'd say about half are sites that I got written down to me.
Nice.
Yeah. And I should actually have 7 or 8 more. It was probably his best lot. Me and the land manager for this logging company got our stories mixed up, and I went in to pay for this lot, and he said that he had given it to someone else.
Oh, boy.
So I lost probably 7 or 8 of my best baits the very first year I was in business. So
wow.
Yeah, that was a big hit.
Yeah.
So how do you decide between all the lots where you're going with guys? Like on these weeks where you're fully guiding?
Oh, it all depends on my lot. Like the lot you guys hunted, I have 8 sites in there. So if I have a group of, say, like 2, I won't necessarily throw them in there if I have a group of 5 or 6. But luckily I had you 3 and a group of 4, one of my return clients. So that was in.
And then Brian, so you had 8 of us.
And Brian, so it was a no-brainer. 8 hunters to hunt that lot this week.
Yeah. Poor Brian.
Yeah.
I called him after you told us what happened.
You did?
He was on his way home. I called him, and I said, "How long you been hunting?" He goes, "I'm pretty new to it, a couple of years, and so I said, "Listen," I go, "Don't get down on yourself." I go, "If you're going to hunt, you're going to miss. It happens,
Yeah, no, he said he was coming back, so we'll see.
So he said, "I just like, as you said, he was checked out, but we were talking about him. It's like, give the guy a lot of credit. He drives up here by himself. The rest of us got groups, and we're staying in nice accommodations. He's, I think he was camping in his car.
Yeah, he was. Both years he hunted with me, and I think you were in the bathroom when I was telling these guys when we met up at 1:00 Monday to go out and show your baits. He obviously met us at that time, but Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, he was meeting me in at his bait site at 10:00, and I was baiting his barrel, and he was sitting from 10 to 7:30, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
We were talking, like, every day we went in, he was already in there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, it's just like you give the guy a ton of credit.
I know.
He's driving up here from Connecticut or wherever he was.
New Hampshire. And like you said, he was...
It's not like you're going with buddies. It's not a hunting trip. Yeah. You're just going to do it by your, like you've done it for a long time. So, you said whether anybody's coming with me or not, I'm going.
Yeah.
But, a kid starting out hunting.
Oh, yeah.
Going and doing something like this on his own, I give him credit.
I wasn't going to sleep in my truck for a week. I know that.
No, he appreciated the call and everything. He thanked, and he thanked us for our help last night. And he said, I felt good having you guys there. It was obvious you knew what you were doing, looking for sign and everything, So we had a nice talk, and he appreciated it and wanted me to send him the information on our podcast so he could listen to some episodes. And so I recommended he go back and listen to episode 211, Creepy Shit in the Woods.
Yeah. He won't want to go in.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not sitting on the ground anymore.
Especially sleeping in his car at night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but kudos to him. There's a guy that really wants to.
Yeah, I give him a ton of credit. It's really cool.
Yeah, I admire that,
Well, he,
So.
he certainly had a tough week. I tried talking him into staying, but he said he was checked out and ready to go home.
Well, he's probably
Yeah.
tired. Those are long sits. He sat for 4 long days. It was kind of hot.
And then he's staying in his car. It's not like you're out, hanging out at camp or laying
Right.
down in
Yeah.
a bed. That's cramped up space the whole time he's here. So.
Right. I know, that's tough.
So I told him I was going to give him a shout out on the podcast. So we admire you, Brian.
Yep. Hell yeah.
Good job, man. Brian Perez from somewhere out there. New Hampshire.
Nashville, New Hampshire.
Yeah. So, he was a good kid, and I told him hopefully we'll see you next year, and
Yep.
hook up again. So, but I'm sorry, I probably broke your train of thought.
No,
where
no,
you were going, but so we started out with a grandfather, and then you took it over 6 or 7 years. Now, your grandfather was guiding whitetail and moose and stuff like that. So, I mean, that was his living, right?
Oh yeah,
All that-
full time.
So you're doing it part time.
Yes, I'm full time at St. Croix Tissue in Baileyville.
Okay.
And I take I've been there 10 years, so I have 3 weeks vacation. People say I'm crazy. I don't use my vacation until obviously hunt weeks. So,
Yep.
luckily I have my father and a few friends that run baits with me when I'm on my day shift.
Okay.
But whenever I'm working nights, I'll work like a Friday night shift, 5:30 to 5:30. I already have the truck loaded at the mill, and I'll leave right from the mill and bait from 7:30 to 2:30. Get home and shit, shower, and shave, and get in the truck and do it all over again.
Go again.
Damn.
My wife, mother-in-law, they all claim I sleep at the mill, and I won't lie. I can't even hardly sleep in my bed, let alone a chair at the mill. But I might sleep 20 minutes a night.
Yeah.
I'll go to close my eyes, just rest my eyes, and I might take a 20-minute nap.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's all I get, and I'm baiting for 6 or 7 hours the next day.
Yeah. So tell us about the baiting. When does that start? When does that begin to be ready for all of us hunters to come in these 2 weeks?
30 days prior before opening night. So this year it's always the last Saturday in July.
Okay.
That's always first bait day, and then last Monday in August is always opening night.
So do you have all your barrels brought in and everything, and do you have to totally reestablish the bait site?
No, typically I'll take, when I'm putting baits out, I won't even take bait with me. I'll load up the trailer with 15, 20 barrels, and I'll just get the barrels out in the woods.
Okay.
And then, obviously, I'll get bait ready as soon as I can, and once all the barrels are out and sites are cleaned up and roads are cleaned up, that's when I'll start baiting. So I usually don't start baiting until 27, 28 days prior to open night.
Okay.
Which obviously it doesn't take a month to get a bear to
accustomed to it.
Yeah.
So do you try to establish new baits every? Do you try I'm going to try 1 or 2 more every year? Like how do you? Because I think one of you guys were on a new bait, right?
Jimmy's
was.
You said you had to move that because of logging.
Yeah, I had Jimmy's initial bait for 2 or 3 years, which was always a real good slamming bait for me, and they went in and logged it, so I just moved it quarter mile down the road.
Oh, okay.
Every year I got to move at least 3 or 4. Some years I got to move 8 or 9.
Okay.
Just all due to logging and.
So I mean that actually brings me up to my next question is like maybe if you don't want to say because of a trade secret or what you and your grandfather, how do you? Because I've asked other guys and I seem to get a really gray answer. Like how do you decide I want to start a new bait someplace? What do you look at? I mean it's got to be geography. Or do you just go potluck and I'm going to walk back off the road here 60 yards and hang a bag and see if anything hits it?
Oh no, I certainly.
I mean, if you don't want to give full answers, I'm totally. I get that.
I won't give all my secrets, but I just think it's something that any good outdoorsman or it's just something you have a knack for. I always go into a new bait site or a new area and I try to picture myself being a 300-pound black bear and say, would I come in the daylight and be comfortable here?
Yep.
Obviously, not another big one is water. You always want to be around water.
We noticed that on Onyx. We were like, all these baits are like within a proximity of a stream or something.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yep.
Wet area.
Yeah.
Yep. There'll be a wet area of some sort, a bog. And
Yeah.
We're kind of on the fringe, on the edge of that riparian zone.
And I know it has to be a certain amount of cover and thickness, for them to want to get up close to the bait and whatnot. But I always just wonder because I've asked, you're just driving down there, like, how did you? I don't know what baits. Sometimes you inherit it, and you have to shuffle it, move it because of logging. But like if you want to start a new bait, there's got to be some, some equation to it. And it sounds like with geography and things like that, you know.
Any new lot I get, I'm instantly getting on Onyx, and before I even get on the road, I'm looking to see where the water is and where the side roads are. And I always baited with a little 2005 Ford Ranger, and I would take that place in the worst shitholes imaginable. And obviously I couldn't go too far because I always have hunters coming with at least full-size pickups, sometimes brand new pickups.
Yep.
So
Bill.
I certainly have 2 or 3 baits where guys have to walk quite a ways because I'm driving that Ranger in as far as I can, folding the mirrors in. And
Yep. Some of the toughest trucks are trucks I've seen the guides drive.
Oh, yeah.
I know.
Yeah. Some of them were nice trucks when I first saw them. But they're like, doesn't matter, we're going there.
Oh, yeah.
And they're going 60 or whatever. I told Bill, I'm like, if I was riding with some other guys, we would be flying down this road. This is good traveling. And then you commented on it that one day.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it was funny, too, because you got out of the truck that first night and broke that branch off. And I looked at Dad. I'm like, you have to give him some extra money for that. And then you looked back at us, and you were like,
remember this come tip time.
Yeah. No, that's funny.
Yeah, it's you probably get an eye for it after doing it for so long. You're doing it with your grandfather. You like, get on this edge down here, and I got a road that's close, so it'll be accessible for me to bait. It'll be accessible for my hunters to get to.
No, like Tim said, I don't really want to say an equation to it, but it's just like I said. I every bait site I go into, I'll pick some shitty side road where I don't think anyone's going to travel, and get out of the truck, and I might find a spot that I instantly say, yeah, this is going to be a no-brainer. I might walk around for an hour. And this is, I'm talking new baits.
Yeah, to set the new bait up.
But it's just, I always tell myself, if I was a big mature bear, would I feel comfortable coming in the daylight?
Yeah, because there's bears all over that place.
Oh,
so
yeah.
it's a matter of like, where are they going to be?
Yes.
Where, like you say, where during daylight hours they would show themselves at the bait.
Yeah.
You're probably not even concerned about like the wind as far as carrying scent from your bait. You're really not, or maybe you are. And again, you don't even have to answer. But
I would say Gramp was definitely, he'd have every bait site for the predominant wind. I don't necessarily look at it that way because I think if you're there, they're going to know you're there. They're going to smell you at least.
Right.
It's not a matter if they know you're there. It's just how comfortable they're going to be. And obviously, I go in every day and bait the barrels. I very seldom use gloves. I'm touching them barrels and rolling them around, and there's my scent on it. And then all of a sudden, a new hunter comes in with a different scent. It's just a matter of how comfortable they're going to be.
It's a matter of them they expect human scent.
Yes.
But it's not. AJ's like, okay, something's a little different. It might take a couple of days for them to get comfortable to come in the daylight. Talking about bait and whatnot, I was talking to the guys about, like, if you had to guess, I don't know exactly what you're using for bait, but like, how much do you go through and see what gets you, like, how much, like, weight wise or barrel? Like,
I can give you weight wise. I had, shoot, 16. I went through close to 4 tons. Yeah, and actually, when you guys showed up Monday, the Sunday before you guys showed up, I told you about how I couldn't check you in Sunday night because I was in down East Maine getting more bait. So I probably went over that mark I just said.
Because I think you said I'm picking up 1,200 pounds of bait. So.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, and like I said, I just run the 30, 35 bait sites. There are some outfitters still in the area that are running 100. So bait is definitely a big expense in the business.
That's what I was thinking. I mean, you must, wherever you get your bait, do you have something exclusive, like you can get bait from them every year?
Oh yeah, I've used the same guy for the last 4 years, I think. He's always treated me good. Always has good bait. It's the nearest bait dealer to me, so it's convenient.
Yeah.
But no, he always has good stuff. It's Maine Bait Supply out of Northfield, Maine. Josh Rhodes.
Okay, so it's actually a dealer, and
he's a bait dealer and a guide. He's one of them guys that he's much smaller than you got guys like Bear Bait Solutions, Henry Moncrief out of New Hampshire, and they do it for, I don't want to say strictly money. I know they enjoy doing it, but they do it as a business aspect.
Yep.
Josh, my guy, he does it. He's also an outfitter. So he's one of them deals. He orders 2 or 3 trailer loads and sells 2 trailer loads to help pay for his.
Gotcha.
So he definitely gives good deals and isn't out there to make money doing it. He's just trying to save himself a little bit of money.
Cover his cost.
Yeah.
So what do you get, like, for bait? It looked like there was, I thought I saw a slice of pizza. I don't know if you were done with it and threw it in there or whether it was.
I got that pizza Monday night after looking for Brian's bear, and it was so bad I put it on you guys' baits Tuesday morning.
It wasn't that bad.
It wasn't that good. all I know is you shot your bear Tuesday night. Whose bait was it? So that would have been.
I shot Tuesday. Yeah. Okay.
So I put
Wednesday.
I put a slice of pizza on Tim's bait or his barrel Wednesday night, and when I went in Thursday morning, it was licked clean. The only thing left was that slice of pizza. So
it was crappy pizza.
So they wouldn't even eat it.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That trail mix on top of my barrel from the first few nights looked pretty good.
Yeah. No, but to answer your question, I don't give away all my secrets, but
yeah,
I would say 95% of us use all the same things: trail mix, Pop-Tarts, crushed Oreos, cookies of
outdated cookies and stuff,
Well,
and outdated food, or
semi-outdated.
I would say you could certainly still eat it.
Yeah.
I went through 6 totes of all this stuff, and I never once saw one little bit of mold or anything like that.
They weren't bad.
No.
Bad, but
It's just by law they can't sell it because it's got a stamp on it or whatever.
So there's probably somewhat of an industry for, like, obviously here at in Maine where you can bait, like New York we can't. So obviously there's like some sort of industry where guys are getting stuff back from grocery stores and stuff that is expired but not.
I talk about
bad.
it. I talk about it with my buddies all the time. I can't imagine how they have so many waste at like I said. I went through 2 totes of Pop-Tarts. Some outfitters go through probably 5 or 6, and I don't even dare say how many outfitters there are in the state of Maine that bait. But that's a lot of Pop-Tarts that are wasted. I can't imagine how they make money with all the waste that us bear hunters are buying.
Yeah, yep. I get stuff. And a little side note here: my in-laws work at a food pantry on every other weekend here for people, come there who need the extra help and whatnot. And then whatever doesn't go at the end of the weekend, they'll pick up. It's free. It's expiring. Take it. And a lot of it's, are you familiar with Wegmans, a big store back in New York and some other? It's a huge supermarket, basically. I've got all this stuff that comes. It's all from Wegmans. It's just loss. And I'm throwing it to my chickens.
Oh, yeah.
And they eat the hell out of it. They love it. But just to your point, there's a ton of loss going on that they obviously factor in, like the Pop-Tarts you talk about or whatever. They might be getting rid of ho-hos or cookies or something. So
it seemed like in Nova Scotia we used more like bread products from stores that were, because I went out and baited with Steve when we were there, and he was like picking up stuff from the local grocery store.
Yeah, and you're ripping the bags apart and dumping the slices of bread in.
There was bagels and bread and
not a lot of sugar. Well, I mean, there's sugars in that, but not a lot of sweets and stuff.
Yeah. But I back in the day, I still do it from time to time. It's a good filler. But my grandfather, we'd always take 2 pickup trucks down to Bangor, and a local bakery is Country Kitchen, and you could buy a truckload of bread. That same deal. You could get 500-600 loaves of bread. There wouldn't be one spot of mold on them, and Gramp would go through that in a week.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
You could get a truckload of bread for $100 back then.
Wow. Yeah.
A lot of bread.
So
he'd go to the local farm and feed store, and he'd get like a 55-gallon drum of molasses, and he'd use that for the first couple weeks just to get them coming. He'd give everyone 8-10 loaves of bread with a 5-gallon pail of molasses on top of it and call it good.
They must love that.
Oh, yeah, and we always shot bear, so.
I noticed that the guys were talking to Bill and Jimmy about the bait sites and how looks like there's stuff on some of the trees and the ground. It's got like an oil or film or something on it. And maybe I'm wrong, but somebody once told me way back that a lot of times they'll put stuff right on the ground or it ends up on the ground. And it was a good thing because bears would walk off and it's on their feet.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's just leaving a scent trail out for another bear to find and follow the scent trail back.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. And I kind of got a cheat sheet because my mother owns the local takeout in right here in town, and she goes through, geez, I don't know, 25 gallons of fryer-related oil every 3 or 4 days.
No kidding.
So
Perfect.
I've gone through probably 50 jugs already, and I got another 30 or 40 in the bait room.
Wow.
But that's exactly right. I throw it on the ground, up in trees. So
it's funny.
Yeah, I was
like
wondering
that.
how it got. Like
Yeah,
the
that
trees are
site
colored.
we were sitting tonight. I mean, the tree like 12 foot up is like black.
oh yeah, that's just from years and years of splashing grease on it. But like Tim said, certainly on the ground, even raccoons, anything that comes into that barrel is gonna have. Basically, they have to walk through that to get to the bait.
Gotcha.
So that soaks in their pads, and they take off through the woods and make scent trails that any other bear that crosses that bear's path is going to smell the grease and backtrack back to the barrel. So it's just a way of basically
getting that scent out there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny right now because everything is so dry. But like, you know,
You can see it.
you don't realize it when you're sitting in your tree stand. Like when you take us in, we're not going to the bait.
Yeah.
So, you know, what was that, Wednesday night? You got yours? So you came to me first, and we went and took a look at my shot. But, like, we're standing at the bait, and I'm like, this ground is, like, soaking wet everywhere.
Yep.
So
messier the better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Very cool.
I got an open can in the fridge.
Oh, sure.
Please and thank you.
You got any Moxies in there?
We got
drank
one
'em
that's
all.
got some flavor to it.
Yeah, if you want to
that
try
bourbon
that one.
flavored.
That's a pretty good one.
Oh, that some of the spray you were using, AJ, you know, scent spray on the, and I'm not going to say what you used because I don't want to.
Don't say it.
But
But Dad and I found it today.
Is there anything else you do to encourage? Like I've seen guys do, and I've even tried it in New York because we can't bait. Like do a honey burn or molasses burn, slow. You know, get the scent out in the air. Is there anything else that you want to talk about? You do, or how else do you encourage bears to want to come in to feeling safe, or their stomach overpowers their brain?
Yeah, no.
You know,
I never really got into the honey burns just because I don't want to say I run so many baits because there are so many other outfitters bigger than me, but
right.
I run basically too many baits to feel like it's worth taking the time to do honey burns and stuff like that. So I generally just stick to grease and typically make my own spray.
Yeah.
But,
okay. Nice. I mean, a couple times I saw they would, you know, you're in there, light it, you know, like the little, what the heck do you call those little burners there? They put them under to keep like the food warm.
Oh, the
like
sternos
the
or something.
Yeah, something like that. But and like I say, back home in New York, they used to have a law that you could bait like up to like 9 days before the season opened. I remember we didn't realize it until Brother Mike came across it. Like, you know, we could put bait out. It's like I think it was like 9 days before season open. I'm like, damn, I didn't know that. I would have put something out, you know. But other than that, when we bear hunt at home, and usually we just go up for a weekend up in the northern part of the state.
Adirondacks. I don't know if you ever heard of the Adirondacks.
Yeah.
And we'll go up there for the weekend, and it's just basically you're hunting, you know, the best way to hunt it. The luck we've had is when the wild cherries are popping, and they're when they start falling, the bears hit. It's like candy.
Oh yeah,
they'll stay in there, and but a lot of times it falls too soon.
Yeah.
We'll go into a hunting area, and there's, you know, bear poop that's 2 weeks old, and you know they're in and done already. So then it's
it starts dropping. You got to be there that week, kind of.
Yeah, and that's I've been up there scouting before. Like, you know, we go in, and it was a couple of weeks before season started, and I ran into a sow and 2 cubs in one spot. We like to hunt. Everyone climbed up a stand, and here comes a, 150-pound bear walked by me. Like, it was happening right then. I'm like, well, in 2 weeks it's done and over with. The show's over.
Yeah.
But we're pretty limited on what we can do, and I was thinking about some of that spray you told us about. I might grab some of that. You know, maybe you do a honey burn. You just sit on the ground in an area. We hunt near a lot of bogs and stuff, things like that. But
if the bog berries are going, I mean, that's
They
the
seem to
next
like
thing for
that.
them to go for is there's these little berries along the bog. bushes.
Cranberries, yeah.
Yeah.
They crush those things.
I think I've had New York hunters before. I think it was New York. You can use a certain ounce of attractant.
There is.
Like
you can
1 ounce or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
It's no more than like a couple ounces. Dad used to.
Yeah.
He knew exactly what it was, and that's what he would use.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like
Pretty much as good as pissing into the wind.
Yeah.
You go back into the Adirondacks where we hunt. It's like, what's 1 ounce of attractant going to do for you?
But I mean, I think we don't get one, but every, I don't know, 7 years or whatever. But we've gotten like 6 bear back in there. But it's all truly just going in and sitting in an area you think they'd be traveling or feeding. So it's all funny, but it's fun. We go back in the morning, first light, and come out after dark. But it's kind of any tip we can pick up, like some of that spray, just putting it in the air, put it on a tree or, limbs or something. They put that scent around.
I certainly try to put it as I guess what am I trying to say? As wide an area as possible just to get that much more scent up in the air. Like Jimmy said, I'll spray it sometimes 15, 20 feet up in trees as high as I can get it. And just the more scent you get up there, the better.
But for you, you're doing it on a bait site. So if you're doing that in the middle of the goddamn woods in the Adirondacks, I mean, is that really going to do anything for you?
I would certainly think if you're hunting good areas like you're talking about,
the bears are there. If you were to have that,
it would definitely spike their curiosity.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what spiked the one bear up at camp. I don't know if you guys, I don't think you were hunting yet, but I was always a camp cook. I'd make bacon and eggs and everything for everybody on opening day. So, and that was back before we had 4-wheelers and whatnot. So to go up top of the mountain, you had to hike up, and you'd always end up sweating your butt off, So I had a backpack, and you'd put your clothes in there. And when you got to the top of the hill, even if it was 20 degrees out or whatever, you'd shuck your clothes and put fresh clothes on. And so I had this polo that I wore when I was cooking breakfast. And so I'm cooking over the skillet and everything, and that thing, smelled of bacon and eggs and everything. So I sweat going up the hill. I get to the top of the mountain, I'm changing my clothes, and I would take my clothes and hang them over a log. There was a log pile up there from some old logging, and I would hang them on the logs and pick them up at the end of the day when I was headed down. And so I went back to, I saw a bear that day, which was, I think, the first bear I've ever seen up there.
That was before we could hunt bear.
There was no bear hunting up there, right? So anyways, I see this bear. I mean, I had him right there. He was a beautiful bear. So I see this bear, and so I come back that night, and I'm looking, and my shirt's gone. And I got a couple other things I had there, but that polo was gone. So I come back, and I'm like, all right, you sons of bitches, who took my polo? I go, give me the polo. I didn't take it, So they all swore to God they didn't take the polo, and they're busting my chops because I said I saw a bear, right? So I go up Thanksgiving. I climb up the mountain again, and I go the path I go to get back into the top of the woods there. I'm walking along, and it had snowed. There was snow on the ground. So I'm like, what in the heck is that? It's dark out, When I go over and I kick this thing, and it moves. I'm like, what is that? And I pick it up, and it's my polo. And, the armpits are ate out of it, and it's all, ripped to shreds and everything. I'm like, them son of a bitches ruined my polo as a joke, So I remember we were cutting deer, and I came back with it, and all the guys were there, and I had it, and I'm like, who is responsible for this? And I swear to God, they didn't do it. But I think that, and then it dawned on me, that bear, smelled that.
Bacon and eggs.
And eggs, and he took that shirt and dragged it off in the woods and ate it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I still got it hanging in the basement.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it to Jimmy when I pass.
Well, the other thing there was, how long ago was that? 7, 8 years ago? You always do the stew for opening night dinner.
Yeah.
And
make the pasta for it.
You've gotten to the point where you don't put all the pasta in now because we're not sure how much we're going to use, and we don't want it all sitting in there if it's just going to be stored. So you always had these separate Tupperwares of just noodles. Well, you left them out on the
rack outside the door.
And that was the year that I shot the deer.
Yeah, you went out to your truck, take a leak.
Yeah, I was pissed because I didn't get to camp to do one more hunt for opening day of bow, or opening day of gun. And I get there, there's 4 or 5 guys there. They're all in at the table. This was when we didn't have cell cam, so you're pulling memory cards, checking memory cards. And, I go in, and then I'm like, well, I might as well get some shit out of the truck. And it's 15 minutes to the last light. And I walk out, and this gorgeous buck is walking right at the truck. And I'm like, holy shit. So I duck behind the truck, and I, like, grab my bow out, grab my release. I'm, like, reaching in the back trying to open my hunting tote to get my rangefinder, and I'm like, fuck it, I ain't got time. And I, like, door of the truck open, standing next to the truck. And there was one opening. I'm like, if he stops there, I can shoot. And I draw back. It was 50 yards. And I freaking wung an arrow, and I hit him probably like 2 inches back from where I should have. And I hear everybody in the cabin going, holy shit. And I'm like thinking they're watching me doing this. I look back, and they're all sitting there on the computer. And I'm like running across the yard of the cabin with my bow, watching up the hill as this deer's running. And, you know, when you hit them liver, gut, you know, they'll run 50 yards, and then they hang up.
Yeah.
And they're all like hunched up. And I'm like, God damn it. Because that's what he did. He ran like 50 yards.
That was my buck for opening day, too. I had him patterned.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding you. I was pissed.
So he, you know, hunched up, and he was standing there. It was cold as hell out. There was snow on the ground. I was like, the last thing I'm going to do the night before opening day is push this deer into the neighbor's property. I'm like, I know he was standing right there when it got dark out, because I stood right out in the yard and watched him till it was dark out. I'm like, he'll be dead right there in the morning. But that was the night you left the pasta out.
Yeah. I was wondering, when does the pasta
Yes.
come back?
To so that night I brought dinner in,
Right.
and you called me, and you
Yes.
said, when you come into our cabin sets up on the side of the mountain, and he said, we just got a logging road that goes up there. He goes, when you come up into camp, you come around that bend, your headlights shine up on that side hill above the cabin. He goes, look for a dead buck up there, or a buck. He goes, I shot a buck, and it's up there. So I come around slow, and my headlights are shining. I didn't see nothing, so I go in there. Anyways, I put the stew on and everything, and I had Mom's big Tupperware bowl with pasta, and I set it on. We got a rack outside the door. It's not from, you know, here to the stove outside the door. So I set it on there, and so
I don't think we even realized it in the morning.
No, I didn't.
But like
know.
I knew I wasn't going out hunting, so I'm like, I need to go make sure I got that deer. And I think you took off and walked up through there in the dark or something.
Yeah.
Or maybe this was later, but
Well, I went out hunting. I did not find
yeah.
anything until I come back that night. It
That's
was
what it
dark
was.
out, and I was coming down the hill, and the cabins, the lights are on outside the cabin, and it was kind of cast on a little light up in the woods. And I look over, and I'm like, what in the hell is that thing over there in the woods? So I go over there, and I'm looking, and ends up being there's a big bed there, like where a tree had blown over, and there was a root ball there. And that bear, and I find the Tupperware thing. I'm like, the Tupperware, I didn't even know it was gone, right? And I look at it, and it's like, this bear come up to the door of the cabin, took that whole bowl, you get his teeth marks right in it, carried it up there, opened it up, and you could see where he ate all that pasta. And
then he walked right by my dead deer and left.
Yeah, he walked right past.
I'm like, he filled up
Yeah.
on pasta, and then he couldn't eat any dead deer laying there, so he just carried on.
Luckily, he had the pasta then.
We filled him up on pasta.
Yeah.
So this lucky son of a gun, he shoots that buck. And it was a nice buck. It was a big buck. So he shoots that buck, found it first thing in the morning,
Yeah,
dresses it out, takes it down, hangs it on the meat pole.
And
he's
then,
like, well,
then I had to wait around because, you know, we got, you know, 6-7 guys out in the woods, and I'm like, I don't want to go driving a four-wheeler through at first light.
Yeah.
So I think I hung out at the cabin till like 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, all right, I'm going to check my trail cameras up on top of the hill. So I drove all the way through, all the way up the hill, all the way to the back of the property. When I was coming up the front, the last section, you can look over the side hill, and when there's snow on, you can see deer bedded down there.
Super steep.
So on my way up, I could see deer laying down there. So I was like, well, on my way back, I'm going to park before I get to the point, and I'll walk down and see if I can sneak up on anything. So I'm walking down the hill thinking I'm going to find deer below me, and I'm almost to where I want to peek over, and I catch something out of the corner of my eye, and it goes running towards the top of the hill. And I turn and look, and it's a buck, and that same gun that I missed with the other night. I had that gun, and I like ripped the red dot on, and he runs all the way to the top of the hill, and then he stopped broadside and looked at me, and I let him have it. So I had both my bucks in a matter of 12 hours. And done
Yeah, I
for
come
the
back
season.
after a day of hunting, and he's got that big bastard he shot with his bow, and he's got this other big one that he shot. I'm like, where the hell did you get that one? Yeah, that was your lucky day.
I'll add this to the story. I shot, didn't know, you know, whether I hit him or not, but I go up there, and I'm finding blood, and with the snow, I'm not finding good blood, but it's like sprayed because I double lunged them.
Yeah.
So it's like specks of blood just thrown out, and I'm like starting to get worried. I'm like, oh, I don't know. So, I called my brother Billy, and I'm like, hey, you mind coming up and giving me a hand? He's like, you can go fuck yourself. I don't think he had anything yet this year, but he was like, no. He was like, I'm like, come on, dude, I need a hand. He's like, no, you just shot $2 in a matter of 12 hours, and you're looking for help? He's like, no, I'm hunting. It's open.
That was a good add-on.
Yeah, it was great.
How many, excuse me, how many deer can you harvest in New York?
So you get a buck with a bow, buck with a gun, and then you can get –
Like
I think
4 doe tags.
I think 4 doe tags, but then you can transfer doe tags back and forth.
Yeah.
In certain areas. Well,
Well,
if you draw a doe tag, you can sign your doe tag over.
Yeah.
So you get your bow muzzleloader either sex.
Yeah.
So, we get doe tags. So we kind of save that bow muzzleloader either sex for a second buck.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll shoot that buck. Maybe we fill that tag during archery season before gun starts, But for gun, you get 1 buck. And if you still have if you haven't filled that muzzleloader bow either sex, then we'll use that in late season, with muzzleloader and stuff. But yeah, I mean, you get more. Like I can shoot without getting DMAPs, from different farmers I know and stuff. Which I don't really hunt the farm country. I'm hunting the hill country down south of there where our camp is. But I mean, I shoot 6 on my own tags, and I can't even eat 6. If I shoot 3, I'm good.
Yeah.
I mean, they get 5 tags as standard, and I look to get 3, but
the harvest 3.
Harvest 3, yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
and we always have we end the season. It's a shame, but it's not a shame. I end up with like a bunch of doe tags left over, but it's like I'm not. On occasion, we've taken deer, especially on DMAPs, and we'll either give them to people who haven't gotten them, or we'll
you donate
them to the hunters feeding the hungry.
Yeah.
So to one of these food things.
Yeah.
So, but like out of our camp, we don't usually like shoot does and donate them. Like if we're shooting them off our property, we shoot what we need there. But we got some farmers that we know up towards home, and they'll have a handful of DMAPs. I remember I went out one day. It was the second day of season, or the third day maybe. It was Monday, and it was my first year retired, and he gave me some DMAPs. So I went out and ended up. I just still hunting through the woods on a nice snowy morning, up in the farmland, and ended up filling, I think, 2, and Jimmy got 1.
Yeah.
So we were back at 9:30, 10 o'clock, and we had 3 deer.
Yeah.
I'm like, geez, I'd have to work all season for this in the hills,
Yeah.
But a lot of deer, on the farm, and we got good deer where we are, but it's rugged hunting. It's tough, and them steep side hills and hemlocks, and they get down. Our hills, I haven't really seen any here. I'm sure there are in Maine, but we got some hills that are they're big.
Yeah.
No,
I certainly enjoy listening to Joe Donito when he's ever on a podcast or watching his
he's
YouTube
great,
shorts, and he's certainly one of my favorites.
I love listening to them guys. The Adirondack Trackers, and he's in now with Hale Blood and them guys up here, But his podcast, he's been on a couple, and really, really good stuff, And Joe's got farmland. He's a farmer there in that Rome, Utica area in central New York, and his preference is to go up and hunt the Adirondacks and track down his buck. You know, do you ever do any tracking? Do you track bucks, like big woods bucks?
I don't travel like those guys do. I certainly don't chase the snow. But if we get it at home, which is typically, I don't want to say seldom, but we usually don't get much snow, tracking snow during rifle season. It's usually muzzleloader in the first or second week of December.
When is your rifle season up here?
It goes until end of November, and then in this zone right here in Lee, which is District 18, where you can hunt till the second week of December. It's always usually like December 12th to the 15th. Changes every year, but And now all the northern zones, it's 1 week of muzzleloader.
Okay.
So we're the farthest north zone that allows the second week
of muzzleloader.
Of muzzleloader, yeah.
What's your gun season? When's that usually open? Is it open around the 1st of November? Or?
Maine Day's always around, always around the 1st of November. Maine Day's always the Saturday after junior weekend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we open, we're usually open around, I don't know, it's like the second or third, maybe the third Saturday after the first Tuesday type thing, whenever it is.
Yeah, it's
like
usually
that,
Saturday right before, right after Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
Usually
before. But on occasion it's been after, and then we got 3 weekends. So basically you got kind of 3 weeks or 2 weeks. I don't know.
We have a
I
really
should know.
we have
I've
a
been
really
looking.
long archery season.
Yeah.
And then the gun season is like 3 weekends. I think 3 or 4 weekends. But then
It might be 3 weeks, 4 weekends. Yep.
Yeah.
Because we're in PA
Yeah.
for 1 weekend of that.
And when I say Maine Day, we're one of the states that doesn't allow Sunday hunting. So we always have Maine Day on Saturday, which is residents only, and then it's open to everyone the following Monday.
Okay. All right.
So we actually did wonder that on the way here. We're like, is there no hunting on Sunday?
No Sunday hunting allowed in Maine.
Because PA is the other one that's got that.
I think there's only like four or five left. But
Well, PA just changed it this year.
Did they fully change it, or is it?
Well, last year they
Certain
had
days.
there was certain Sundays you could hunt. They allowed you a couple of Sundays, but and I would have to check. But my understanding, if I remember correctly, was that they now allow the Sunday hunting. So, which is, good for us, bad for our wives, because normally we drive home Sunday. Now we can hunt another day. Hunt till noon or 2 o'clock, and it's only a couple hours, 2.5 hours away where we hunt down there. So, but Tim, what else did you have?
I was going to ask AJ, like, obviously you were into it with your grandfather. You bear hunted, like, I guess what I'm getting is, do you bear hunt anymore? Do you have a passion for bear hunting? I know probably difficult because you're guiding people, but do you get a chance to get out, or do you even want to get out? Or are you like, I'm done with it?
I would definitely enjoy being able to sit out in a tree stand, relax, and try to shoot one with my bow. But typically, obviously, I'm going to take care of my sports first.
Yeah.
But with the mill, I only operate the first 3 weeks of the season, of bait season. I don't own hounds. I don't generally advertise trapping. I have had a few trappers come, want to harvest a second bear. But usually, just because by the end of the third week, come fourth week, the family's kind of checked out. I'm checked out, but I'll certainly, if I have a really big bear because like I said, bear meat's my absolute favorite. I always want to freezer full of bear meat.
Yeah.
But the last 3 or 4 I've killed, I've trapped them.
I was going to ask you, snare trap.
Yep.
That's the only thing legal, right? Just to snare them, not any old school conventional trapping.
No old school teeth traps, anything like that. It's just all foothold snares, which is, I know a lot of antis think it's cruel and mean, and they struggle and suffer. It's no different than a dog on a leash. We have it's like a pipe system. They reach down in a pipe and pull a trigger, and it releases a snare around their elbow, wrist, and holds them there until you can go in and dispatch them.
There was the check-in station that we went to up here. What's the next town up that where Bruce is?
Springfield.
We went to Springfield, and they had a check-in station there, and they sold them there.
Traps,
That's the first time I ever seen like in person,
Yeah.
and could hold them and look at them. But they had the snare traps there, and
And that's might as well talk about it while we're on the podcast. A lot of people think that, again, not cruel, but that is absolutely one of the easiest way to target a good bear, because there are so many laws, and you can't go the snare loop can't close any more than, or any less, I should say, in 3.5 inches.
Okay.
So you're not going to get an accidental cub, and you can make your snare loop.
Oh, that's interesting.
You can make your snare loop as big as 5 or 6 inches and only target a great big bear if you want to, and everything else will slip out.
Gotcha.
So,
okay.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's not something I would have thought of.
Yeah.
It's interesting because different. Even within the hunting community, I had told you earlier in the week, like 20 years ago, I would have never sat over a bait.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I just, in my opinion, I won't say that I don't know. It just didn't seem right to me. It's like, you're luring them into the bait, and it just seemed like unfair chase to me, maybe. And then
I think we talked about it earlier in the week. We talked about.
But I was listening to a lot of, I got into, my son Billy got me into the podcast and listening to a lot of different podcasts, and like Clay Newcomb, and some of those guys talking about the bear hunting and the perspective on on hunting over baits is that it's really the best way to get them. It's most, in their opinion, it's the best way to like assess the bear, whether it's sow or boar, the size, all these different things. And the bear's in, you get to take your time looking at it and you get a good, ethical shot on it, right? And it kind of like hearing some of them talk about it and knowing that Tim did it and Joel did it, Jimmy's done it, it kind of changed my view on it, And, we sit out there and like, kudos to you. I mean, all three of us saw bear this week, And, but, in our initial meeting, you talked about the barrels you use, how to size the bear against the barrel, and what their weight might likely be, if they're as tall as a bear or taller, or if they're second ring. We went through all that, right? So when this bear came in, it was unbelievable to me. And I've seen enough bears that I know that they are like, I don't even know how they do it, but they are dead silent walking through the woods. Now, this bear came out of that pine thicket. And, I went in there looking for blood, and I come out, and I had blood on me. I had tore up my face, and I'm on my hands and knees, and I can't hardly get through there. And that bear, I'm sitting there like a statue, just staring at the bait site in that kind of grassy area going off. You can see a trail in there. I mean, they're either going to come in there or they're going to come in through these pines here. So I'm just sitting there like a statue staring, and all of a sudden, looking at the same spot. It's not like I was like closing my eyes, resting. I'm just looking, and all of a sudden I'm like, is that a bear standing right there? And it's like, it's only, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 yards from the bait barrel.
Yeah.
Off in that thick pines. I'm like, I don't think that was there a minute ago. And I'm just looking at it, and I'm like, is that a bear? And then all of a sudden it like moved forward a little bit very cautiously. I'm like, oh my God, that's a bear, But it was funny watching it come out of the pines, because it'd come out a little bit and then it'd start to go and then it would go back. I was looking around, and I'm like, just don't do it. Just relax. Let him, But it got into the barrel, and right off the bat, I'm like, okay, it's higher than the second ring. So it's, it would be a bear I should consider, right? And then I'm looking, and so it went around the barrel, and it's eating and everything, and I'm able to like kind of size it up. And I had told you initially, I was like, I didn't pick the gun. I'm like, I'm not shooting this bear. It's too small, And I was looking at the back to the chest on behind the front shoulder. It just looked too small to me, But the head looked good, the legs looked good. The butt was taller than the barrel. So I'm like, oh, God. So the thing fed around for a little while, and then it turned and was going around the barrel, and off. It was standing broadside. I'm like, I haven't shot enough bears that I should like let this go, because it's like too small. So I'm like, the hell with it, I'm going to take it. But it was really neat, because I had plenty of time to really watch the bear, contemplate whether or not I wanted to take it. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And then even after I shot it, I'm like, well, I know how high it was, so it had to be a decent bear. But when you shoot that bear, and that bear, I could tell, like I knew I hammered it. And the way it took off and ran right back the way it came through that stuff. And you would think, like, even if a deer ran through there. I shot that big buck a couple of years ago, and he's running through the hardwoods, and there's all sorts of noise, and then he goes into the thicket, and there's crashing, and there's like nothing.
Oh, yeah.
The bear runs in there.
Like you said, we were on our hands and knees by the time we found him. And
Some of them branches were only 10 inches, or the little tree. I'm just like, how in God's name did he whip through there like that?
Right.
And you could see where there was like blood on those little pines, and it's like, but he went through there fast. It's amazing how fast they can go.
Yeah.
And but when I went in there, I shot at like 5:44 or something like that. Then I contacted you. You said, well, you got plenty of daylight. If you want to get down, look, see if you see, blood or see any sign, check the bait site. And you said, my only rule is I ask you that you don't go out of sight of the barrel, right? Which is a good rule for a guide, because you don't know like what the woodsmanship level is of different people. And last thing you need is a hunter lost out there and a bear hit. And so, I went in there a ways, and I could not find it. I did find one spot. There was a pine tree probably 3 inches across, a small pine, and there was like a dot. I don't know what caught my eye, but there was a dot just above the ground, and I wiped it with my index finger and looked, and I'm like, that's blood, So I went a little ways farther, and I'm like, I'm not finding anything, and I kind of went the path he went. So then I went to the left a little bit, and I came out of the into some more saplings and stuff, a little easier to navigate, right, not get a stick in the eye or something. So I came back to the barrel, and I'm standing there. I'm like, I cannot believe. Like, I don't know how much a bear bleed. I know a deer would have been leaking.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So, like, I don't know. There's a lot of hair on a bear. Maybe they don't. So I'm like, I wonder what it would be. Now then, it was like 6 o'clock or 6:03 because I checked my phone. I'm like, now it's only 6 o'clock at night, but it's dark in there when I crawl in there. I go, maybe with a flashlight I'd see something. So I go back to where and it wasn't very far before I had that spot of blood, and I had marked it with the heel of my boot in the ground there. So I went back to that spot, and then I got out my flashlight and I turned on the flashlight and I started going through those pines, and I'm like, there's blood there, there's blood there, there's blood there.
Yeah.
It was all over. So then I started crawling, and I'm like looking back, I don't see the barrel, and I'm like,
It only takes you about 15 yards to lose sight of the barrel in there.
yeah. And I'm like, so I went probably 30, 35 yards, and I'm like, I can smell the bear. I'm like, I smell, he's dead in here. I know he is. But I'm like, I don't see the barrel. And so I said, I'm going to, I got to follow his rule. So I went back. But, yeah, when we went in there, I mean, that was living hell going through that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, it was funny, too, because you were like, give me the easiest pass out. And I'm like, I turned around after we crawled through all that shit, and I'm like, I don't know. You want me to blood trail it back out? Because I don't know where the fuck we are right now.
You go in there 50, 60 yards,
Yeah,
and
we
you're like,
weren't in
I
there.
have no idea. I had the tracker on in my Onyx.
Yeah.
Because it all looks the same.
Yeah.
And there wasn't. You got off the side to the greener stuff and the ferns.
Yeah.
There wasn't all. That
But
was a
then
little
I felt
better.
like I was going the wrong way, but you were like, no, the barrel's right in front of you. I'm like,
Yeah.
never would have guessed that.
Yeah.
It was crazy how thick it was.
Oh, yeah.
So
that's
here's
what they
another
like.
here's another question about the low light stuff, and we had issues with this week with me and Brian. You had said the one night you had a bear on camera at like 7:31. Most of us were getting out at about 7:25, 7:30 because we couldn't really make, ethical shots.
Yeah.
And the shot that I took was at like 7:14.
It was right there.
7:13, 7:14. And I could see the body of the bear, but the way that particular bait site was, like, I could see fine to my left and to my right.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But the bait site was like in a hole, and everything around it was pretty dark. And I could see
It's from all that grease and stuff on it. Everything's black,
I could see front leg, back leg. I could see that the bear was broadside or quartered away. So I knew that it was like a good shot. But then when I put my scope up there, I was off a decent amount, because we walked in there. We haven't talked about our individual stories yet, but we walked in there with you, and right about when you shined your light on the tree, I saw the same thing you saw, and you were like, well, he goes, that's not a good sign. And I'm like, no, it's not, because that's sure as shit not where she was standing. I was low and left. But, when I pulled the gun up and thinking about it after the shot, I'm like, everything was black in there.
Yeah.
So you were talking about a picture you had the other night. You were like, this, a good bear was on this bait at 7:31. I'd have shot it. And I was talking to these guys on the way out tonight. I'm like, we need to talk to AJ about, because we were talking like scope setups, red dot, bow.
Mm-hmm.
We were like, what's the optimal setup for these low light conditions?
I have some guys show up with 6.5 Creedmoors that got scopes on them for shooting antelope at 800 yards.
But it's more like, what's the best at that last light to have on your gun?
I would say the lowest power. I got that little 44 you guys saw a week. I always ran a 1 to 4 power on that. And when I was bear hunting on a bait, I always had it on 1 power. And
Did you how big of objective lens?
I would say the bigger the better to let
light,
as much light in as possible. So ideally low power and.
Yeah, because you said, we were talking about that. I said, what would you use? What do you have a one that has an illuminated reticle in it, or we were talking?
Makes it worse.
The illuminated reticle.
Yeah.
I don't own any. I have a few friends that have like the. I have a buddy that has a Sig Sauer. I don't know what their model is, but that's an illuminated reticle, and he loves it. And I've never really got into it.
Yeah.
I've just always been a crosshairs guy.
And if you have a 50 millimeter objective lens, which Jimmy has on his muzzle loader,
I'm kicking myself right now.
If you had it on 2 power with a 50 millimeter objective lens gathering some light, maybe you get 5 minutes. I mean, 5 minutes can make the difference between getting the bear and not getting the bear.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that bear was on the bait in good shooting light, but just the setup I had was not right.
Well, you look at tonight; it got dark fast tonight.
Yes, the overcast. It was.
And he was using my shotgun.
Me and Jimmy said I was sitting at home looking out the window, and it was like 6:55, and I said, "Geez, they're down to the last 5 or 10 minutes, and you still got 35 legal light."
Legal light, yeah. And it was like, we were hell bent. We were sitting till 7:30 or 7:25, whatever. I think it probably like 7:02 was. I don't know what legal sunset was tonight.
7:03.
7:03. I'm telling you, 7:03. It was like I'm waiting for Jimmy to go. That's it. Cut it. We're done. And he kept a couple of times he would look through the scope.
I looked back at you and you were like, "What do you think?" And I'm like, I at that point I borrowed Tim's bipod for tonight because like in these ladder stands, you're shooting out in front of you and you don't have a rest, so it's pretty much freehand it. So I was like, well, we brought that bipod. I might as well take it.
Yeah.
So I had that set up to set on my boot so I didn't touch the metal ladder or anything, the platform with it.
Yeah.
So I pulled that out of my bag after he was like, what do you think? And I put that on my boot and I put the gun on it. And I pulled up to the bait site and I had that zoomed all the way out. And I was looking around the bait site with a scope and I'm like, we got time. And then I think we gave it like
6 minutes.
8 minutes. And I was like, I'm going to check it again. And I was like, pulled it up and I'm looking and I'm like, yeah, we're still good. And then I moved the crosshairs off the barrel and I'm like, oh, they're gone. So I'm like, if a bear is standing here, I'll have it in the scope, but I'm not going to be able to tell well where I'm aiming.
Yeah. Yeah. So
it was 10 after, 12 after.
Yeah, we were done.
Yeah.
And it was like, because if there's no bear, our philosophy is there's no bear on the bait and you can't ethically shoot,
the best
get
thing
out.
to do is get out.
Get out.
Before one gets in there.
Right.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's the only thing we could think of when we were talking about that on the way back. Like, we got to ask AJ about that. Like, what would be the best setup? Because, and you're in dark woods too. Like when Jimmy shot, I was back around the corner. I had walked from my bait site where I shot my bear. I had hiked back to Jimmy's, but I didn't want to get in there and mess up his hunt. So there's a fork in the logging road there as you're headed kind of whatever that would be northeast to go back towards my bait. So I texted him. I said, I'm going to wait here. I'm sitting on a rock, until it gets dark because I don't want to mess you up, So I'm sitting there and all of a sudden, boom, you hear him shoot, right? So I get up and I start heading back there. I stayed there for a minute to watch both because he didn't sound like he was that far away. And I thought, you never know, a bear come running across this logging opening here.
Oh, yeah.
So I waited there for a couple minutes, and I started walking to Jimmy. I get to where I know his bait is because I was there one day. We dropped him off, and I'm like looking into the woods, and it's like looking into that refrigerator. It was just black in there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I know he goes in here somewhere, And like where I was, you could shoot out in the logging cuts, but in there, it was. And he whistles to me, and he can't be 10 yards from me, and I don't know. I can't even see him. I'm like, holy cow, it's dark in there.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I stepped out on the road, and it's still daylight, and you look back in there, and I'm like, nope, it's black.
Oh, yeah. Every year I have guys that talk about they get out because they can't see, but as soon as they get in the road, they second-guess themselves. What the hell am I doing? Where am I staying?
And you're like, what am I, a pussy or something here? I'm standing in the road, and it's still shooting light.
Well, that was the first night for me. I stepped out on the road, and then I ran into a bear that was trying to come across the road to the bait site, and I'm like, well, Jesus Christ, I get out too early? I'm like, I couldn't really make out the around the bait barrel anymore. Your barrels are white, so you can see them, they stand out, but I was like, I wouldn't have been able to make a shot at that point, so I bailed. And then I run into a bear that was coming across the road to come into my sight. I'm like, Jesus Christ. and it's light out on the logging road. I'm like,
And we should clarify that these are like logging trails. They're not like, these aren't town roads or anything. Right. So
this is 14 miles or something back in.
Of dirt road back in there. So, but, yeah, so I don't know if you want to, anything else you want to talk about?
That was just when we started talking lighting, I wanted to ask that question. But
So that was the same night that I shot.
Yeah.
Very calm night.
Like Jimmy said Wednesday. I got the days mixed up. I thought it was Tuesday.
It was
Wednesday,
yeah.
And so I shot at 5:44. You shot at like 7:10,
It was
7:13.
12 or 13 because I texted you at 14.
Yeah.
And then, you didn't have a hit, so we went to mine, retrieved my bear, which was awesome. It was cool. Thank you for dragging that out through that shit.
No problem.
You know, you're like, well, that's what you're paying me for. I'm your man, you know. So, and thank you for giving me my first baculum or whatever that thing's called. So I got that.
There's other words for that.
I'll have a beer, but I am not going to have a mixed drink.
Not till I clean that thing up, right?
Wait till we come back. It'll be ready.
Yeah. So he's telling me he's got 2 of them.
Jimmy or Tim?
Tim.
Yeah, at home. Yep.
I wasn't offered that on my bear.
Well, it's the guy, the big one in Manitoba I got. The guys told me the same story you did, and here you go. I'm like, wow. So I took it home, cleaned it up, and I have not used it to stir any drinks. And I've got another one. I think one of them I skinned and dressed out. I got it myself, but a little smaller and whatnot. But it's funny because not a lot of people talk about it, or taking that bone out and whatnot. It's kind of interesting. I'm glad you got it. It's neat.
Yeah, very cool.
That is cool.
One thing I meant to ask you, Tim, earlier in the week, you seem like a very serious bow hunter. How many bear have you killed with your bow prior?
3 or 4,
including your big one. Or?
Big one was a bow,
Yeah.
and you know, it's funny because I'm not gonna lie, I missed my first shot.
Yeah.
And I'm in northern Manitoba. We stayed in a tent up there with a guide, and you know, the bears really didn't know we were flown in and dropped off. It was a really cool hunt. But this bear come in, and I was gonna tell you guys earlier, you know, talking about judging bears, and it came in. And I'm like, I didn't go, holy shit, that's a big bear. I look at it, and I go, I think it's decent. Walked around, he walked up and looked at me, and there's not a lot of big trees up here so far north up there. So I'm in this tripod stand, and I'm looking at the bear. Kind of walked up, and he's looking at me 15 yards away. It's a little intimidating. And he walked away, and they had barrels with popcorn in them, and they put the oil and grease in it, and it's chained to a small tree. And he turned around to walk away. Then it clicked in. I'm seeing the size of his ass.
Yeah.
I see he's got, you know, just how wide he is, and he has no neck going to his head. And I went, holy shit, that is a good bear. And so my heart was beating, and he picked up the drum with both hands, trying to carry it away, like not standing upright, but, you know, doing what they do. And so he was right there. My heart, I had, you know, not buck fever, but bear fever.
Bear fever, yeah.
I shot, and I can't remember. I think I shot under him or something. He took off, and I'm like, oh, my God, you idiot. You screwed that up. Excuse me, like 15 minutes, 20 minutes later, come walking again. I'm like, holy crap. And so anyways, he came in, and I got a shot, and perfect shot, and he ran off, started to go up a hill. And I'm like, well, that's not good. Then he turned and went back down. Then he did it's the only death moan I've ever heard. Yeah. And but that was pretty cool trip. But he rattled me pretty good when he first came in, because that was the distance and the proximity, and I realized that's a big freaking bear.
That bear was huge.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I think I've got 3 or 4 with the bow, 1 with a crossbow. I think must be 4. I've got 7. I think 1 with rifle. I shot the first dog hunt. I've only done 1 dog hunt. I had like 3 days in between jobs. So I went up and did 3 days of dog hunt. We got one. Used my dad's rifle for that.
The 30-06.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then
Whereabouts was that?
That with the guide.
The hound hunt. Whereabouts?
Well, it was I went through Woody's, and he had he's got a guy that comes in, and I can't think of.
So it was in Maine, down.
It was
Waterville.
in Maine, down near.
I've heard of Woody's.
Yeah, down in Kingsbury Pond, and you know, back through. We go through Sabatis and way back, so it was that area back in there. Pretty cool hunting stuff, but I still prefer sitting in the stand. Yeah. You know, that's my favorite and whatnot. But yeah, I've missed. The biggest I shot at a big bear at Nova Scotia. That was like a circus bear with my bow, and I shot. I had him in front of me for 45 minutes.
Oh my God!
And I was too picky, waiting for the right shot. And I finally got a shot, and I think I shot when you drop to look. Yeah. I clean missed hair, and it just shot under him, and he ran off like a heifer, a big old cow would run off. And I'm like, holy crap! So. Oh, you know what? To back up, I'm sorry. He came in, worked the bait for I think like 45 minutes, ate everything and left. and I didn't get a shot off. And I'm like, maybe I'm too picky. He was sitting down like a cat would sit.
yeah.
I'm like, I don't want to take that shot. And he was just.
They say that condenses the vitals. You know, you want him
and
standing.
I wanted a perfect shot. So, and he left. I'm like, well, I didn't spook him. And I hung the bow up, and I sat there, and like 20 minutes later, come walking back in to double check, I think, see if he missed anything. Or I'm like, holy shit, he's back again. And I was like in an adrenaline dump anyways, you know. But I was like ready to take a nap. But I got a shot at him, shot underneath him, clean missed him. And, you know, you always, like, you remember the ones you miss, you know. But,
yeah, sometimes more so.
You said circus bear, so he was bigger than your 400-pounder in Manitoba? Yeah.
He was, because the Manitoba was a spring bear. This is a fall bear. I'm guessing, you know, he was pushing that 500 mark.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
I had pictures there's a trail cam there. They had pictures of him the whole time. At one point, he stood there. He looked like a bulldog. Sitting there, he sat on his ass and stared at me. And I'm like, I'm just not moving. And this is like, I was doing like going at like 9 in the morning and sit all day, you know, and I just sitting in the stand. And I'm like, you know, had my hand against my face and close your eyes. I just open my eyes and this black Volkswagen in front of him, like what the shit, you know? You don't hear him, you know.
It's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
How quiet they are. It's unbelievable.
Just like big moccasins on their feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They move through the woods.
It is wild.
The only one that ever made noise, used to hunt back in the valley up on this side hill there, right where the oaks go to Hemlock, and I had a ledge there. The stand is still there, but I was up there. Again, now bear season was open in New York, but you could not shoot a bear till after the first week of deer season. So it's Saturday, maybe?
I think it was Friday.
No, it was Friday after Thanksgiving. So the next day, I could have shot it. And there's a huge valley. And on the valley across from me, we call that the North Hill. So I'm sitting in my stand. It's like, I don't know, 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning. I hear the craziest noise, just like crashing. Like the only thing I could picture, because I've heard it before, where you get 10 or 12 deer and they're like tearing down a steep hill.
Oh, yeah.
And there's rocks and stuff going. There's all this commotion, right? So I get up and I get my gun and I'm looking because I'm thinking somebody just bumped a huge, 10, 12, 14 does or something, whatever. All these deer are like crashing down the hill. I don't see any deer, right? So then the crashing starts quieting down, and I'm still watching down there because I could hear it come all the way down the hill. You can't see over there. It's far enough away. And then I see, I caught movement down the bottom of the valley, and it's a bear. I heard him in the creek, cross the creek, come up the other side, and he's coming right at me. And that bear was big. That was a good bear. And it came right up, and it came and stood like broadside at 20 yards. And had no idea it was there, and he was like breathing heavy. So somebody, bumped him. Yeah. And he come down there, but that's the only bear of the ones I've seen like up at camp and even in the Adirondacks that made a sound. And he was like freaking out going down that hill. And I'm telling you, it was like a bulldozer coming down that hill. There was logs breaking and rocks flying, but that was a big bear, and I was like, are you kidding me? Like I could have shot him tomorrow.
Yeah.
But he was beautiful.
What's funny is when we were in we hunt the Adirondacks for bear, and I was sitting on the bog that Grandpa found that he always used to hunt, and me and my buddy Adam were sitting in there, and it was probably like 45 minutes before dark, and we started hearing something across the bog from us, and literally the only thing that we could think that it was like a flock of turkeys feeding down the side hill, and then it popped out on the edge of the bog, and it was... we started seeing like those bog berries get ripped down, and then you'd see the bush come flopping back up, and you'd see it go over, and you'd see another one go down, and we're like, Jesus Christ. And then like you catch black, and we're like, that's a bear. But like that thing came through that hardwoods like a flock of turkeys scratching. I'm like, he wasn't running. He was just working his way through the woods.
Eating
I'm like,
my theory, I mean, you would know better, AJ, it's like if they think they're safe, nobody's around, they're just walking, maybe making noise. Like I was in Pennsylvania one time, but it was a sow and 3 cubs. It was bow hunting. And I thought that there was, 6, 8 kids, just running through the woods. I'm like, what the hell is coming along? And it was a sow and 3 cubs, and they had no idea it was there. So, I mean, I think they're more relaxed. They're not going into a position where they think of humans there.
I would say the biggest factor is when they come to that bait barrel, they know that that's not natural and there's definitely a catch.
Yep.
So like when Bill said his came tiptoeing in, he had already been there 30, 40 times prior.
Yep.
But every single time they come to that bait barrel, they know that there's a catch.
Yeah.
So that's like you said, if you catch one during deer season where they're just moseying through the woods and on a regular travel route, then their guard's kind of down. But whenever they come to a bait barrel, they're definitely weary and double checking, triple checking. So
yeah, I think most of the bears I've seen when I'm hunting have caught me off guard.
Yeah.
To some degree. I was going to ask if you.
Do we have another one in here?
Hopefully I didn't drink all those beers.
Jimmy's been pounding through them pretty good. He has a knack of doing
Is there
that.
more than that can?
Oh, yeah.
Got some more moxie for me.
Coors are pretty much water, so they go quick.
Yeah, they don't even count. You want some more ice in that?
Don't matter. That's fine. Thank you.
So the
Jesus, that can is big.
I know that's
It's
like your
my
third drink.
It is literally.
You want me to drink that one? Yeah. You ready for a different
hard
drink?
Mountain Dew?
You want it all the
I
time.
didn't even know such a thing existed.
I just learned that about a month ago.
Get all jacked up on Mountain Dew, Chip.
Oh God.
So
but you want to? We kind of got Jimmy's story, but I don't know. Maybe you want to tell any more on that? We were talking. We covered my success, which. Thank you, AJ, for that. I mean,
fucking rub it in.
All I know is Jimmy really put a hurting on that tree.
That tree's done.
You know what? If that tree was the bear, I center punched the fuck out of that thing.
I was going to take. I know you can't cut trees down. I'd like to see if we could get that out and we can mount that for him.
That would be good.
You know,
we could get some brackets, put the tree back together.
But that was a big bear.
It was, and you had warned me about that. So there was a smaller bear that had came in first, and that one, I don't know if it checked the sight for the other bear, but that bear, when that bear came in, it flanked to my right, to my downwind side, and then it came in, and that bear was 5 yards away, standing on a log, staring at me in an 8-foot ladder stand, and I'm like, this is exactly what I didn't want. But I really, when I first saw a bear, the heart starts pounding, and you're like, holy shit. And then, by the time it had done its thing and worked into it, it worked in once, and then it turned and went away. And then it stood up on its feet. And this is where I was trying to start to judge because it wasn't at the barrel. And while it was coming through the woods the first time, I'm like, that's a small bear. And then it turned at 20 yards and went back to where it came from. And then when you're sitting in that site, you can see to your right. I don't know if it was logged in there or what, but you can see to the right in there. And he, I don't know what it was. It stood up on its rear legs, and it was standing straight up in the air, and its head's going, and it's sniffing, and I'm like, fuck, is that a small bear? I'm like, this bear's starting to look better.
Yeah.
So then it hits the ground, and it turns, and it comes right back to me. And that time it came into 5 yards, and it's, standing there on the log looking right at me. And
right.
At that point, I wasn't flustered. My heart wasn't pounding. I was like, you just can't move. It can't see you.
Mm-hmm.
So that whole interaction was really good. And that bear came in, and it ate some of the stuff off the top of the barrel, and it was seeming like it was settling in, and then all of a sudden it spooked off and it was gone. And I'm like, well, if it spooked off, there's got to be a bigger bear coming. And I looked back, and it was getting to that time of night where I had sat there 3 nights, so you're looking at all the spots that you've been looking at for 3 days.
I was going to tell you guys, make sure you pick out all the dark spots before it's dark out.
So, third night there, I'm like, I got all the spots kind of in my head where I'm like,
that's not a bear.
That was a black spot during the day. It's not. Well, like you said, the black Volkswagen coming through the woods.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there looking, and I'm like, that's got to be a tree. And it's on the edge of the thick and the open where I can see. And all of a sudden you see it move. And I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, that's got to be the big one AJ was talking about. So, yeah, that thing, it started to cut right like the little one did. But then it kind of weaved back in and went to the barrel, and it ate some stuff. The way you got that barrel is it's kind of in a little hole there.
Old skitter up.
Yeah, so the barrel's down in there, and I knew at this point, you know, I had just seen the other bear. I was like, this bear is much bigger. You know, you told me there was a good one hitting, and I'm like, this bear's freaking big, you know.
Yeah.
But like it was, so I've seen quite a few bears in the woods. So like, I was telling Tim the other night, I'm like, I feel like I have a good feeling of like judging bears, but the way this thing came in on the edge, I never got like the full feel, and it wasn't like light enough out to be like, you know, all the things of like, that's a giant bear.
Mm-hmm.
But there was one that I missed in the Adirondacks that I was sitting in one of those cherry flats that we like to hunt, and it was a good year for them. And there was a deer feeding behind me, and I heard like a twig snap. And, you know, this goes back to like how quiet bears can be. And I'm like, I know I just heard a goddamn twig snap over there. And I'm like staring over there. And then, you know, I look back at the deer that was just feeding nonchalantly, and the deer's like frozen, staring my way. And I'm like, I see a lot of deer, and I don't remember deer like standing around like that. You know, it was kind of like frozen motion, like something's coming.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked back, and this freaking monster of a bear. I mean, that thing was over 400 easy. It came wallowing out of that swamp, and it was slightly quartering to probably, or heavy quartering to, but the way it was in a 30-06, I was like, I'm going to feed it right in behind that front leg. And I shoot, and this is coming to our story here on this hunt. I shoot, and that bear, like,
there was another tree in the way, wasn't there?
Sure fucking was. But that bear like put on the brakes, and then like, you know, I'm like, I gotta rack around.
Mm-hmm.
But it had like that oh shit moment. The both of us did.
Yeah.
We're like, holy shit, I just got shot at, and holy shit, I just missed. Why is this bear standing here? And it like spun and turned and ran back into the swamp. So, you know, I called you the other night after I shot, or you called me. I texted you. But, you know, you were like, how do you know, what happened? And I'm like, I don't like it. Because I feel like that bear that I shot at the other night did the same goddamn thing where it was like, oh, see ya.
Yeah.
Turns and trots back into where it came from. So, you know, I had a pretty good feeling that I had missed, but you were like, well, you know, a bear's reaction. I'm like, no, that seems like the same goddamn thing that happened to me in the Adirondacks.
Yeah.
But no, it was amazing. You know, you had us right on them, and you told us what was going to happen, and it happened, and fucking botched it.
So, well,
hey, you had the experience.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
Like Tim said, sometimes you remember the ones you don't get more than you do the ones you do get.
But I mean, that's only my third opportunity on a bear, and it's a situation that, you know, we were talking about lighting earlier. You know, something that I haven't been in, and you know, I messed it up, and it's all scenarios that you don't think about until you're in the moment.
Oh, yeah, it happens. If you were the only one, I'd feel bad for you. But you know, that was number 4.
I was going to say number 4.
Brian's would have been 5, and we wounded 1 the first week, so that's 6 that got away.
Yeah. Well, the best thing that could have happened is you would have killed that bear. And the second best thing is you clean miss them.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So I mean, it's like
that's the feeling we have with anything we shoot at. You know, if it wasn't a good shot and I clean missed, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah,
you know,
I'd rather have that.
Scenario. And with bear, you always got to look even with no blood, because I've had clients shoot them with 180 grain .6s before, and no blood, going the next morning, find them dead as a doornail, 100 yards from the barrel. And, but with Jimmy's, we went in and saw that bullet hole in the tree, and we knew.
Well, when Jimmy
and I knew where she was standing.
Jimmy stood where the bear. He goes, the bear was right here. I'm like, it's a clean miss. There's absolutely, because he's good with that stuff. He knows, you know. And I'm like, it was a miss. But like you say, you got to look.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Yeah, even after we saw the slug in the tree, I'm like, I don't feel like I'm doing my due diligence if I don't look for blood.
Right.
Oh, yeah. You know.
No, I did the right thing. Yeah.
What about you, Tim? How was your week?
Great week. It was good. You know, I saw a bear, a little smaller than what I wanted to pull the trigger on, and got to watch it. And
that's what I was thinking of. You saw your bear on Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it was Tuesday. Yep. I was comfortable with the site and everything. It was, you know, everything was good. You know, then AJ moved me to a different site on Thursday and Friday.
Too soon.
No, it was. You know, you had a good bear coming in on that new site I was at, and you know, he What, you had pictures yesterday of a couple coming in?
Yeah, so I moved you. You sat Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Saw your bear Tuesday, so I moved you Thursday. And like I said, when I checked the camera this morning, sure enough, there was 2. I think you would have at least considered putting an arrow in on your initial site. So
yeah, no, it's yeah, honestly, I'm good with the choices and stuff, and I like the second spot you took me to, and there's a good bear there that come in later after I left last night. Smart bear.
I keep checking my phone. I'm
I know.
still hasn't shown up.
I'm waiting to see that, but honestly, I mean, I don't know how many times I've sat a week and not even seeing a bear, or the bait doesn't get hit, or maybe it got hit once, or I mean, just I tell these guys this has been really good. I'm really happy with the week. I had fun. You had action. Everybody was seeing bears or they had action. I guess I don't know about that other group.
I think we got one guy this week that hasn't seen a bear.
To me, that's impressive.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it, and I felt like, right off the bat, I was like, he's got us on bears. Like, there's not even a question about it. Like, everybody's in a good spot.
I haven't even thought total. We saw Brian missed on Monday. Tommy saw a bear on Monday. Ray saw a bear on Monday. That's 3. I think that was it.
I saw a bear on Monday.
That's right. You saw your bear on the road. That's 4. Tim saw his bear Tuesday. That's 5.
I saw 2 Wednesday.
I saw the
7.
one I got.
Bill killed his 8. Brian missed again Thursday 9. So we've seen.
I mean, shot opportunities, even if people choose not to, is opportunity is huge. And that's what, like I say, I appreciate this week because, like, it's not just me. Like, even if I didn't see anything, I've been in camps where, like, one person saw a fleeting glimpse of one. And that's hunting, too.
Oh, yeah.
But that's why I'm just really impressed with the way things went and the activity and the luck people had, or, people had, they saw a bear, maybe you couldn't connect or whatnot. But it's been good. Like, I was going to say, we talked to, is it Kevin, one of the owners here? Or
Keith.
I'm sorry, Keith. And then we were talking to him about it, and he goes, he knows how to bring the bears in. And I agree. I'm like, you did a great job. And with the whole group, I think it's not just like myself or our group. It's like, it seemed like everybody was having luck to some level. Yeah. And that's pretty impressive because I've seen a lot of weeks where we didn't get anything or you didn't see anything. And that's what sometimes happens, And
I certainly appreciate you guys because being in the business, I deal with hundreds of different attitudes and personalities, and you guys
I can imagine.
You guys were an absolute pleasure and no complaints. I've had people come before and shoot 6 or 8 bear in their group and just piss and moan all week and still not have a good time.
Yeah, that doesn't make it any fun.
A couple guys I went way back when I just started bear hunting, been to Quebec a few times. I think it was the very first outfit I went with. A guy was with us, second or third day, hadn't seen anything, and he was bad-mouthing the guy. There's no bears here. He's got some shit baits. He doesn't want. I go, he can't control. I go, he wants you to kill a bear. Yeah. So you go home or see a bear, and you say, this is what I saw, and you can tell your friends, or you want to come back. I go, he's not putting you in a spot so you intentionally, so you don't see something. And some people were that way, and, I did a couple hunts with him, but it's just that mentality. He was too quick to be judgmental about it. And, it's still hunting. You can't control the animals, what they do. But, no, it's been, speaking of clients and stuff, I was, I know we've been on a bit here, but I was going to ask you about any either nightmare stories, like, or a great story. Like, give you 1 or 2 bad stories, or then end up with 1 or 2 good stories. If you got anything like, whether it be tracking, or if you want to pick on a client, you don't have to use a name, or
hunter shot himself or something,
or anything anything unusual, or like, this is the weirdest thing that ever happened to me out there.
Squatchy.
I would say.
I was going to say, is there any Sasquatch?
The real good one that instantly pops in my head is the one I told you guys earlier in the week about my grandfather did it for 40, 45 years. I took over, and my very first client, I went in, I was all excited, opening day of my first year in the business, and I had a woman call, said, yeah, I just shot a bear, so first client, I'm all excited to go running out, get there just about dark, we track her bear for, 80, 100 yards, and sure enough, it's still alive, and I put it down. I called Gramp that night and I said, how many bear did you have to kill on the track after dark in your 40, 45 years? And he said, geez, AJ, I don't know, maybe one every 10 years, so maybe 4 or 5. And I told him, I said, well, I'm 1 for 1. Well, this woman, she's hunted with me 4 years and killed 4 bear. I figured it out, too, because she was one of my clients first week. She's killed 4 bear with me in 13 sits. And,
wow.
She seems like a great hunter. Her and her husband travel all around, and
Yeah.
just kind of bad luck. But I've had to dispatch 2 of her 4, and so that was definitely exciting. And I don't really want to call it a horror story because it all turned out. We got the bear and didn't have to suffer too long, anything like that.
Sure.
But the best story I would say is probably just this fall opening week. I had my return client from Ohio, Jody Hooks, shot a nice big bear. What was it? Wednesday. Never saw a bear. Monday, Tuesday, and it was early. It was 6:15, something like that. I had a cell camera on his bait. I got a text from him. He said, I just shot a beauty. I said, geez, I haven't got a picture yet. So I talked to him 2 or 3 minutes. He said, yeah, it's dead at the bait. And I got on my reveal, looked at the picture, and the one picture I had of a bear. I said, oh, yeah, that's a good bear. That's 225, 230. Well, come to find out, the bear was 365.
Damn.
And
wow.
And we laughed about it. I've seen obviously thousands of trail cam pictures. It was just an absolutely awful picture of the bear.
Yeah.
and I was with other hunters, so I called my father and sent him on that one. He said, how big of a bear? I said, oh, it looks like a good one, 220. And my father's a big man, so I called him an hour or so later, and I said, what do you think? And he said, well, I'm 6'3", 265, 270, and it is way bigger than I am. So that was certainly a good surprise.
That's cool.
I was thinking it was a better than average bear, and it was a giant bear that he killed with his bow. And to make it even better, I pulled that card on my reveal the next day, and I got all of it on video.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
So I'll be posting that to the page once everyone's gone. I have a little
Things
time
slow down a little. Yeah.
But
that's awesome.
Yeah. No, he definitely drilled him.
That's pretty cool. So,
and I guess we can razz Tommy Johnson from Massachusetts with us this week. He killed one with me 2 or 3 years ago. He's always hunted with his 45 Colt open sights. He had a nice big bear come in. It was like Tuesday or Wednesday a couple of years ago. I went in, blood everywhere. We went, I think it was like 250 yards. I finally lost blood. We looked all over, grid search, couldn't find the bear. So I called local blood tracker, Paul House, and he had a long-haired dachshund is what he tracks with.
Okay, yeah, we know a guy that does that.
Yeah.
And I marked,
nasty dog.
I marked last blood. We went in the next morning, and he never broke. We went 600. It was like 657 yards.
Oh my God!
When I tracked our track straight line from bear to barrel, so we actually tracked probably 850 yards. But we killed the bear 13 hours after he had shot it because it was still alive.
No kidding.
That was probably, you were asking for a horror story. That was a very, very long and hellacious drag out.
Sure. Oh my gosh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So real quick, I know we're kind of wrapping up.
Yeah, we should be wrapping it up. And
I was going to say, to kind of promote your business more, but like what impressed me a lot is you have a lot of return customers. So like percentage-wise, this year, like how many of your clients are return customers, would you say?
This year I had opening week. I had 4 return clients opening week. And this week I had, trying to think how many I had total.
You had 5, right? Because you
yes,
had that other
Brian,
group of 4 and Brian.
I keep forgetting about Brian being a solo. I had 5 this week, so over 50% are return clients.
Yeah.
And I would say that's low compared to some years because I was talking about the woman that I've tracked down. 2 of her bears still been alive.
Yeah.
Her and her husband do it like every other year. They bring a group of 6 or 7 one year and then take a year off to save money, or they do a different trip.
Yep.
And they come back to me, and this happened to be an off year. I had 2 cancellations, and her and her husband took those cancellations. So
wow,
I would say on majority of years, it's almost probably 75%. I'll have 3 groups that are return clients, and I'll have 1 brand new group like you guys come in.
Yep. Well, we're pretty happy.
Who I certainly
about.
hope turn into a return
Yeah,
customer.
sign me up for return customer.
Now, we've had a great time. We've been talking already about, the future, and we'd love to come back again.
Yep.
So the only thing I'm complaining about, you don't have any. You're showing off a sweatshirt now with your logo.
I know. I saw him come in with that. I'm like, damn, I'd buy one of
I
them.
got a T-shirt on, too.
Well, you got to stay in touch. Let us know if you get some, and we'll buy some off of you.
I'll certainly ship them out to you.
Yeah.
I've been lazy the last couple of years and haven't made any orders, so.
Well, we'll bug you for them.
We could help with that at the Hunt Works, because the other business that runs there is called Idea Works, and they do all the T-shirts, sweatshirts, duffel bags, everything. So
cups, plastic cups, man.
Man.
Been through some plastic cups with them.
I did coasters one year.
Did you?
Oh, yeah.
We could tighten you up with some stuff.
Koozies.
Yep.
Get some swag. Yeah.
Well, anything you want to add, AJ, that we haven't hit on? I know, we were thinking an hour. We've been at it coming up on an hour and 50 minutes, so which is all right. It's been great conversation.
Great.
So
I guess we didn't talk about what I have to offer online. I don't have any website or anything like that. I just have Facebook.
Yeah, that's a great point. How to contact?
Like Tim said, I do all Facebook. I'm part of, 15 or 20 outfit and strictly bear hunting pages on Facebook, and that's all I post to, and I get all the clients that
all you need right there.
All I would ever want to get through Facebook, so I've never took the time to make a website or anything like that, but just Harris Hunting Adventures, and my cell phone number's right on there. Text me, message me.
Yep. Well, thank you. On behalf of all of us, thank you for a great week. As I said, the accommodations are great. We knew when we met you, I'm like, this is a good dude. Knows his stuff. And, the hunt was like, I'd never done a bait hunt, and, I would not bat an eye at coming up here and going out with you again. It was fantastic. I enjoyed it. I love the pace.
Can definitely tell you're passionate about it, too, to take something like this over from your grandfather.
Yeah.
And
that's pretty
you're
cool.
running hard every day while you're here doing it for us.
Honestly, you've been straight up honest about everything. And you're even like, by Wednesday you want to move, and that's when I said, you want me to move, I'll move. I trust your judgment. You got to trust your guide, because you want us to be successful. And then you've been very open and honest about everything. So that's been appreciated, and it's great.
Yeah.
So
we loved it. Had a great time.
I know I already said it, but I appreciate the hell out of you guys. Like I said, you were an absolute pleasure, and
thank you.
I have several groups that are great guys and easy to work with, but every once in a while I get a couple bad eggs. So you guys were great.
We're pretty easy
awesome.
going.
We enjoyed it.
Yeah,
we just like to hunt.
Yep.
So we're gonna wrap up, and then we're gonna put a hurting on. There's a little crock pot over there. It says "good shit" on it.
It says poo-poo underneath.
Where'd the poo-poo come from?
I don't know. I can't figure out who wrote that.
So we have some cubed venison steaks that have been slow cooking in there. We cooked them this morning. We're keeping them warm. So I'm thinking we indulge in a little bit of New York State venison steaks, huh?
You'll have to have some Swan's custom meat cutting bear steaks.
That's what
I know.
Picking up in the morning.
Yeah.
He's not going to have much left by the time he shares it with Tim and I.
I am going to share it with you, too.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Except for the roast.
Yep.
I'm going to run one over to AJ's house. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you being on. Appreciate your time and everything this week. It was awesome. Thanks, guys. In the meantime, keep feeding them.